Hello, and welcome back to the Moore's Edge project. We are pretty close to getting this finished, or this phase of the project finished, which is the website. So I did take off the About page because they didn't really want to write much more on it, which is fine. No need to just create unnecessary work for anybody, both creating and reading. So we have our intro, the seasons, people can book. And so it brings out that little book and it goes to VRBO site or the Airbnb site, the listings on there. People can sign up for a quarterly update on what's going on in town and the latest recommendations. Here are all the amenities, some pictures, some testimonies about the hosts, their top recommendations, more pictures if somebody has questions other than reservations or maybe prior to reservations. They can fill this out. And then there is the map. And then right now there's only 3 recommendations, but they will be more, so people can say if they want to do something a little artsy and then go have some food, they can click on the options and sort to sort of an agenda, as you would. So now on the Webflow blog, there is this post, A Marketer's Guide to SEO and Webflow. And so what we're going to do today is go over the points of the article, which are responsive design, schema, meta titles and descriptions, redirects, alt tags for the images, indexing, sitemap, Canonical Tag, and advanced publishing options. So the first thing is responsive. So as if you've seen the other videos, I have this little extension and it shows that it is responsive to various sizes of devices. So that's that. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing was schema. And what I'll put in some links. So here is schema.org. And on schema.org, they do have markup for hotels. So lodging business or accommodation or offer. I went down the accommodation route because it's not like it's a, it's just one vacation rental. It's not this big business. And so then down here we have some choices, and I went for the apartment choice. I did try condominium because it's a townhouse, so it's I guess you could consider an apartment. But when I went to verify that everything was good, it told me no, that is not something that's there. So this is the schema. Let's just open up a Google Doc and we'll put it in there. And take a look. So we have our type, apartment. We have the name, Moore's Edge. An alternate name, so it's actually within the village at the Moors. Maybe it's the village at the Moors. So it's Unit A, and then the website, and then you can put a link to the logo and a link to the image. Now that looks funny. Maybe that's just a thing from copying it. So let's take a look. I only put one in, so maybe Webflow adds the other? I don't know. It's a good question. And then a description, occupancy, what's the minimum to occupy, maximum number of people, number of bathrooms, bedrooms, whether there's pets allowed. And then here I put the links to the listings. So as you can see, one of them was a placeholder. So I'm going to put in the link there. And that is to the VRBO listing. So we have the Airbnb listing, the VRBO listing, telephone number, email address, check-in time, check-out time, type. So you can put in a link to the kind of type that it is. So it's a vacation rental, not a regular rental, where an apartment could be either. And then areas served. This points to Provincetown. And then the address, that it's seasonal rates. So they would have to go to the other, the listings, and then they have 5-star listings. And then you can put in amenities. And that's pretty much about it for that. So we're going to save that. I can do the same thing on the recommendations, which I haven't done yet, so I may do that. And you'll see here that you can add fields. So for each, you can put in the standard recommendation, which they do have as a recommendation, but that comes with the caveat because it is proposed for full integration in the schema, but it's not implemented yet. So when it comes to testing, I don't know if it will test. And so if we go to the testing tool, what you do is take your URL, put it in, let it test. And I had to do this a bunch of times because I typed in some of the stuff and it just kept coming back that it was wrong. I used this hotel schema example. There are tons of examples out there on the web. But what I was doing was retyping some of this stuff instead of just copying and pasting it in. And in the schema, they also give you examples. So like the number of bathrooms total, number of bedrooms. I can put in floor size. It was giving me an error when I did this. And so I ended up copying and pasting. I thought I typed exactly what I was supposed to type, but apparently I didn't. So you can then click on here, and it will tell you. And once I changed it from condominium to apartment, when everything was correct and I ran it, but it was still condominium, it said there was nothing there that they could verify. And so then I changed it to apartment. So for the most part, this Google tool will know everything that's current for schema. And schema gives the search engines context as to what your site is. It makes it easier for them to interpret it. Okay, so that is that. meta titles and descriptions. So if we go into Home, Settings, you'll see that we have SEO settings under here, and this is the title tag, and that's different from the title of the page, although it could be the same if you wanted it, and then a description. And in the article, it tells you, I think it's 60 characters for the title. Well, that's the most optimal amount. And then I think it was 150 for the 155 characters for the meta description. I do need to go through and look at the descriptions. This is all coming from the copy that the client supplied, so I will have to go through it. And then I added the Open Graph image, and I'm just using the SEO title and description for that. And then below here is the schema. So you would go through each page and do the same thing. So I have to do that on the recommendations. Privacy policy in terms of service, what I'll probably do is put in to the robot text, not to index those, or the style guide. And then same thing with the recommendations. And here you can put in name, let's say recommendation Morse Edge, which of course is way too long. So you could do a different field that has the title tag, and then here we can add the abstract, which is probably too long as well. And then we can select the main. I don't know if I really want to do that. I'll think about that. Could change the main image to be something that would be better for that image. Something to get back to. Okay, what's next on our list? 301 redirects. So the original site is on Squarespace, and so we have this accommodations, unit A. Okay, so accommodations isn't anything. Unit A is a link. Since we no longer have the other units, we want to go into our project settings. That's not where the redirect is. Where is the redirect? There we go. Oh, I have to add a site plan. Once I add the site plan, then I can add the redirects. We're not ready to publish it yet, but it will be the CMS plan. While we're here, this is where we add our custom domain. And it will give you the information that you need for that. And then we can enable all this stuff. And then if you have a custom SSL, you can add it here, but they provide an SSL. So since we can't do the 301 redirects, image alt tags. So if we go back to the designer, I talked about this in a different video. The audit panel for accessibility. We have 15 missing alt tags. So this is missing an alt tag. So what we want to do is go in here into your images and add what it is that's in the picture. In this case, it's just the logo. But here, for the background image, even though I don't think it shows up, 3142. Let's go to the panel. Oops. Panel. 3142. Nope, it's not there. So let's pick one that is there, which is the host. And so what we want to do is put in Ned and Itzik planting spring flowers. There you go. And if it's this, something like this icon is really just decorative. It doesn't really have any meaning for someone that's using a screen reader. So we want to go through every single one of these images and add the alt text. Yay! So we're down to 13. And I'll do a Webflow has an accessibility checklist, and so we'll do another different video on that one. So the next thing is indexing and sitemap. So we have to go back to the settings. And so indexing, we want it indexed, but if you didn't, you could turn that off. The robot.txt is where you can specify not to index the privacy policy, terms of use, and style guide. Although on the page itself, you can say don't index it, but just as a double check. Here's sitemap. You can it will auto generate it, but you can also add a sitemap, custom sitemap to it. And then part of the other, I think, list is Canonical Tag, which you put down here. And that specifies that the information coming from the site, like if we had a blog on the site and we had this really great article, it tells Google that this is the origination of that article. So if somebody takes it and uses it as their own, Google will know through magic that it originally came from this site. I'm sure it's not magic. And then you can verify Google. So you go to Google Analytics or Google Search Console. sign in, and then it will give you performances, but you can do your verifications here or on Google Analytics. I end up using Google Tag Manager. So I put extra let's go back to the designer. No, custom code. So in here, I add the Google Tag Manager script. And then the Google Tag Manager will manage all that stuff, the Google Analytics. And then if I did Facebook, I can just throw it into Google Tag Manager, and then it will show up on the site. So it's not, you're not adding a whole bunch of different tags from different places. All right, I did want to show you. So if we go to privacy policy and we go down, you can check this exclude from site search. So we don't want that, but I am going to put it in the robots once I publish. And we'll check the rest. So that's it on our list, right? Advanced publishing options. I'm pretty sure I did that while I was looking at something else, so I didn't do it in the here they are. So that's under the hosting. You want to check all these on because it will make your site faster. So that is it for today. Next time, we'll do the accessibility checklist, and then that will be pretty much it for the website itself. The next part is to create an app to be able to manage the recommendations. And so they'll be able to go out into town while they're sitting there having dinner or drinks or whatever. They can quickly go on to an app and create a new recommendation. And then we'll have it show up on the site. And so they'll have the latest stuff there, and they can take down stuff that they end up having a bad experience at, or something that they want further down the list. What I would like to see is at least three recommendations in each area, each category. So each of these categories has three. At least three, but not really more than five. People will find their own way, but they do like to look at or know what your recommendations are. All right, that's it for today. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.